Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about how to get over a breakup. It's something that everyone goes through in their life, whether you're the one breaking up with someone or even being broken up with, or even dealing with a friend and trying to sympathize with a friend because they recently had this experience. So this is actually gonna be kind of a part of a series. I want to talk a little bit more about it. There's a couple of different ways we're going to talk about it, but today I'm going to take you behind the science of getting through a breakup, and then as well a couple of tips that I have for you if you are going through a breakup. And if you are, I'm sending you so much positive energy and so much love right now. You're probably on this video because that is happening, so whoever you are, go get a tea, go get a coffee, let's get cozy, let's just chat and let's hang out because you are not alone. But first, we're gonna talk about the science behind how to get over a breakup. Let's do this. I was reading an article in Time, and they were basically talking about a study that had been done in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, the general version of it, and it was all about the science behind getting over a breakup. Now, to understand, going through a breakup or the end of a romantic relationship can cause insomnia, loss of appetite, a whole bunch of things. So you're gonna wanna try and move on with your life as soon as possible, but sometimes it feels like it's dragging on and it will never end. So this is the study that was done. 24 participants who had recently been broken up with but still claimed to be in love with their ex participated in this study with psychologists. There was a test group as well as a group that was put through some different cognitive tasks. So a cognitive task is basically being told to think about something differently or being told to participate in an action or something like that to basically change your mindset and the way that you're thinking. This is what psychologists did. There was 24 participants. They all ranged from the age of 20 to 37 years old, and all of them on an average had been in relationships just recently broken up with for about 2.5 years. So on an average, their relationships lasted that long. And to give myself a little bit more legitimacy on being able to talk to you about this topic, I myself, in my later 20s, have been in 3 relationships that were all at least 2 years, the longest being around 5. And none of those I am currently in right now. But enough about me, more about this study. So they were given these different cognitive tasks. The first group was told this: to negatively reappraise their ex. So basically in this, instead of thinking about all the great things about them and all the great things about your relationship, they were told to think about some of the negatives, if not all of the negatives, if they could write them down. So mulling over the negatives kind of softened the blow when it came to even thinking about their ex or being in the same room as them. Thinking about all the negative things that was kind of in the relationship and maybe to do with that person, again, softened the blow. The second group was prompted to read and try and believe statements to reappraise love. Basically, what that means is, it's okay to be in love with someone that I'm no longer with. That statement alone basically says, it's okay without judgment to actually care about someone, to be in love with them, but not be with them anymore. And without judgment is probably one of the most important parts of a study like this, because people are feeling such true emotions, and you yourself maybe as well. Know that it's okay to feel this way and to just basically accept that you're feeling this way and to allow yourself to feel that way. The more that you try and push feelings like this away, the more time rather it's gonna take to actually accept them and move on. So the third group, this one's kind of funny, I kind of like this one. This group was told to basically think of positive things outside of their ex. Like all you can eat sushi and dogs and things like that. Because when you go through a breakup, you constantly are prompted and just thinking about your ex and all these things that you did with them, all these things that you miss about them. So instead of even thinking about them at all, they were told to think about things that they love, things that are positive, completely aside from their ex, which is kind of a distraction technique, but we'll get to that. And the last group, the fourth group, they were told to think about nothing in particular. They weren't told anything in terms of those first three groups or those first three participants. They basically just had to sit there, and that's our control group that in a study needs to happen to compare. So this seems a little bit evil when it comes to science. Evil scientists at work again. This last thing that had to happen happens in normal life all the time, and that's basically why this study happened. All the participants were then, after doing these parts of the studies, were then showed a photo of their ex. And that's such a realistic moment. They were given some time and they were sat down and they were showed a photo of their ex without even knowing that that was going to happen. They were hooked up to what is called an EEG, and that basically tested how they reacted in their brain to seeing that photo. And that EEG was measuring something called late positive potential. And late positive potential in this study was basically looking at not only their emotional response, but also their attention to it. So how much captivation was in that moment between the photo and the person looking at it. The more captivated you are, the more engaged you are, right? So if they had a big spike in that, that means that they didn't get over their ex at all throughout all of the processes that scientists just did. This is what was found. So, interestingly enough, the one group that was told to think negative thoughts about their ex, they felt less for their ex during the study, but they actually left with a worse mood. So, when it comes to getting over your ex, I feel like this is not an approach I would usually take. And as well, just from personal experience, sometimes you're talking to a friend or a family member about something and you just want real advice, or you just want to be able to feel a certain way. When they get kind of riled up, you kind of get defensive on their behalf as well. Have you ever had that happen where you are trying to express an emotion, someone gets a little bit too heated about it in your favor, but then you kind of shift back to defending that person? It's just something I do. I don't know if you guys do that, but that's actually not really positive if you actually want to get over this person, because you end up just defending them, you know? So if you constantly work through things by trying to negate it with negative things, I feel like that's not bringing a lot to your life. This is a technique I wouldn't necessarily use, but it might be one that works for you, because apparently it helped these people feel a little bit less about their ex. I like the love appraisal one, because basically it's kind of like self-affirmation, mottos throughout your day to try and get through something. Basically that notion of saying, it's okay that I'm in love with someone that I'm no longer with. I think that's a really positive way to get over your ex, and that actually did show positive signs of helping in the end. Last thing, the distraction technique in thinking about something a little bit positive outside of your ex. That did end up helping the mood of the participants, but it is just a distraction coping technique. So it didn't actually help them long-term get over their ex any faster. So maybe it's just one of those things, if you're out and about and you have to go and do something and get through the day and you're just extremely upset and you just don't know how you're gonna get through it, maybe that distraction technique is pretty okay, but know that it won't help you get over your ex anytime faster. So that was pretty cool. I kind of liked reading a study that had to do with science and the way that the brain works in terms of getting over your ex, and it was kind of cool seeing the fact that the fourth group that wasn't told anything was basically devastated when they saw the photo of their ex. And it mirrored, this study in particular caught my attention because it really did mirror the way that our society works and the way that life works these days. Because you could be scrolling throughout social media, and one of the biggest things that I suggest too is unfollow that person, or if you feel uncomfortable unfollowing, there are so many different ways on social media to kind of negate that. You can mute their posts as well as their stories if it has to do with Instagram. That's something really healthy, and then when you feel a little bit better about it and maybe you are over it, you can take off that mute later, but right off the top you have to do that. The only thing that's troublesome when it comes to social media though is even if you mute those posts from that specific person, there are still going to be moments, unexpected, unbeknownst to you, where you're scrolling through and your friends or your friends of friends or their friends have a photo with them in it. being able to manage those emotions are really important because you still have to carry on with your day, right? And if you just see that and it changes your emotion immediately and your day is just ruined, then yeah, there's something a bit deeper than we have to get to. And trust me when I say those were moments for me where my day was ruined. So no judgment by me to you if you do have those moments right now, but you will get through them. And I am positively saying that to you, even though there are moments where I'm sure it feels like maybe you are going to die. Another thing that really helped me outside of a study, outside of any science behind it, but just something that I always knew was going to be something that was going to help, as well as friends telling me this, is write yourself a letter. Right off the bat, write yourself a letter. Especially if it's kind of one of those relationships too, where it goes back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes you broke up for a reason. It sucks, but it's true. And if you write yourself a letter in the now, when you're having feelings, when you're having emotions, whether that's you're still in the relationship and you're thinking about not being in it anymore, or you just ended the relationship, that's gonna help a lot, especially when you end the relationship or the relationship ends naturally. There was a moment where I was feeling kind of low the other day because you start thinking and your mind kind of drifts, and I really just went back to negate all of those emotions because I honestly am so happy right now being in this new relationship that I am in, but I had to remind myself that things end for a reason. And basically what I did is I went and I read a letter that I wrote myself, and I was reminded right away. Sometimes when we end a relationship, we start thinking about all of the good things. It's just natural, like in that study, try to think about the negative things versus the good things. But the thing about that is that you start thinking about the positive things in the way of someone else is going to get all of this that I worked on, that I basically helped them become. Someone else is going to get that person. But that's not true. Because if you end a relationship, the state of that person and the way that they are is always going to be that way for someone else, and you hope that they grow too. And the fact of the matter is that you grew as well throughout this relationship. So if you can remember and write yourself a letter why it ended, why it wasn't really the healthiest relationship for you versus why they kind of suck, more why this isn't a healthy relationship for you, that's gonna really help you. The next thing that's gonna really help you is just to take care of yourself. Do your hair, get up, do your makeup, just get up, force yourself to get up and go out. And for me too, this didn't necessarily mean like go out, go to the club, and we're gonna talk about that as well in a different video, but get up and go. And this means not even necessarily going out with friends or hanging out with anyone at that matter, or dating, like couldn't even imagine dating for so long after any breakup. But what this means is just get up, walk to your coffee shop, talk to the barista, go get a coffee, and participate in life again as an individual. Because if you can get up, then you did it. You already succeeded in that day. And if that's all that you do in that day, that's fine. You need to start shifting the focus onto from 100% caring about someone else's emotions and taking that responsibility on and feeling socially responsible for someone else's happiness, to shift the focus to realize that the only person's happiness that you are socially responsible for is your own. The next thing that I suggest is surrounding yourself with a very positive support system. We're going to talk about support system again in another video. I'm going to take you through 3 scenarios, 3 girlfriends, and what they did for me to help me get over a breakup, or even get over the process of feeling so much anxiety and even having panic attacks within that moment, because the emotions that you feel after a breakup can absolutely devastate you. Surrounding yourself with a positive support system is like anything in life. Getting through a hard class, getting over an addiction, love in a way, and getting over a breakup is like getting over an addiction. And one of the top things that any psychologist, any doctor can suggest is to surround yourself with a positive, non-judgmental support system. A quick thing on a day-to-day basis that I suggest that you avoid is to torture yourself. Sometimes we are like, yeah, we need to cry, and without inhibition for any human life around us, it's just gonna happen. So you might as well just throw on Taylor Swift and Sam Smith and Adele and just like really get into it and feel the emotions you're feeling. But that doesn't have to be your every single day moment, right? So if you can actually get up and play some happy music, you might actually not even realize that you're gonna set your day off to a completely different positive spin, or at least for moments find some relief from thinking so negatively and sadly about your relationship. Music is actually gonna help you if you allow it to help you. Even shows, I remember at night I would be watching Grey's Anatomy before bed and trying not to be crying over my relationship, but then this was like a sad show, like so much happens in this show, so I would end up just allowing myself, convincing myself that I was bawling my eyes over Meredith Grey versus my actual relationship, and then just falling asleep and being really upset.
Look what you do, look what you do, Ruby.
And that actually wasn't great, because then you don't really get a great sleep after that, and you end up just having crazy, weird, emotional dreams. So when it comes to going to bed as well, on a complete side note of the music thing and the show thing, is try to go to bed with a clear mind versus torturing yourself. The very last thing that I'm gonna say about this when it comes to getting over a relationship is know that it's okay that you feel this way. And you're not the first one to feel this way. You're not gonna be the last one to feel this way. And when you are crying at nighttime, when you are forcing yourself and realizing that, okay, I'm at work, but I can't cry right now, but I have 2 hours to go, and then I can cry in my car or anything like that. Like when you are just feeling your lowest low and not valuable, know you are valuable, continue to write yourself some things to remind yourself what you are worth. You have to know that you are worth a whole lot, sweetheart. Seriously, you have a lot going for you, and in a positive way as well. What I did and what I feel like maybe would work for you too is every single day writing down something you love about yourself, or something you have going for yourself, or a daily affirmation like, today's gonna be a better day. Today I'm gonna be better than yesterday, and I'm gonna do something for myself, or I am comfortable within my own skin, or something like that. But all in all, it's gonna take some time. And again, that's okay. Give yourself that time. I am sending you guys so much love. We have so much more to talk about when it comes to getting over a breakup, not only just the science and a couple of tips that I have, but also just with being a good friend, getting over a breakup, or how to do that for your friends. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for checking out my videos once again. I can't wait to get roaring with some Christmas stuff and really get into the holiday spirit. But as the holidays roll around, I find that sometimes that can be an even more emotional time for a lot of people than others. So I'm glad that we got this kicked off. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys in my next video.